Chris, just in terms of the contributions up and down the roster? Do you think one of the more complete games?
Yeah, absolutely. I think everybody who came in really did something to impact winning tonight. Had some amazing performances. I thought Jaden and Nas were spectacular. TJ off the bench was good. Luka gave us really good minutes too. So we needed this win, and against a really good team. And key to the game was taking care of the ball. We knew coming in if we take care of the ball, we have a chance to win. So
when you put Nas back at the 5 and then just use him primarily, just how did you see him use his talents to?
Yeah, they guarded him with Williams, so we tried to keep him out as much of the action as we possibly could, just because we didn't want to put the better defender on Ant. But he was active. He just really rebounded the ball at a high level. I thought he got a lot of balls in traffic, but he was just kind of active everywhere we needed him to be. Went to work in the post when he had a mismatch. He kind of cut against a lot of the doubling of Ant. He had a career-high assist as a result of that. So really smart game by Nas.
And then it just seemed like there was just 2 crucial stretches, start of the second and the fourth, where Shannon and Dillingham and Garza just felt like they just got you through.
Yeah, absolutely. With we used a lot of zone there. Those guys did a great job executing the game plan. It certainly helped them. Got enough offense out of them. Luka was really good on the boards. Rob created pace. So
Jaden had spurts tonight where he just looks like the best player on the court.
Yeah.
And that happened against Portland too. I know, the peak is consistency every night, but are you seeing it enough now where you just can really recognize that this is what he is capable of becoming on a consistent basis?
Yeah, 100%. And we gotta again, we've always talked about him, kind of being like that barometer for our ball movement. They trapped and they forced the ball to move, and the ball found him quite a bit. But when teams are not playing, we're always putting 2 on the ball, and Ant, we still got to have more ball movement. So these things happen. The offense has to breathe for everybody. And we've seen it enough now to know that, he can replicate it, so.
Sure, these last couple weeks have not gone the way that Luka wanted them to with the opportunity.
Yeah.
What did you see of him tonight? It seemed like he was just living down low and trying to win with relentlessness. Is that a good way to get yourself off the mat, I guess?
Absolutely. He made all the tough plays, all the kind of dug out a bunch of rebounds, 50-50 balls, that kind of stuff. Played great defense. Put his body, and I thought he got fouled a few times that they didn't call it too. So we've been with Luka long enough that we're not going to lose confidence in him. And I know he's been hard on himself, so it was really good to see him play that way.
The thing that is kind of surprising about McDaniels is he was a 4 tonight and he played just like a 4. He only got 6 rebounds, but he was in the middle of a lot of that rebounding.
Yes.
He posted up people, especially late in the game. Just classic. He was a legitimate power forward tonight. That kind of that versatility and option give you a lot of lineup flexibility.
Yeah, absolutely. And also we were able to keep him off the ball a lot tonight. So he was big at the rim defensively for us. He's super smart in rotation. They were trying to hide some matchups on him offensively, and he was able to switch and take advantage of some matchups there when the ball came his way. So again, I thought it was one of the more cerebral games by both him and Nas.
Is that becoming a more attractive option to get him off the ball?
Yeah. Obviously he's good on it, but I think and it keeps him fresh. I think playing on-ball defense, getting hit by 1,000 screens it's not a very easy thing to do. So
on a night like tonight, when you come down 4 or you're down 4 rotation players, just how important is the start of the game to just instill a belief early on?
Yeah, it's huge. I think it's certainly huge in that capacity. And it's been important for us, certainly here at home. We've had some kind of we've been starting games better, but the last 2 games, the Cleveland game and the other night, last night, or I guess it was, we didn't start particularly great. A lot of turnovers last night against Cleveland, we couldn't score, so it was important to get off to a good start. It always is. I'm a big believer in big starts.
This stretch here, when you've been battling the injuries, with guys in and out of the lineup, you hope that obviously you have a healthier roster coming out of the break. But what has this just said about your team this stretch here? Some good games, some bad games, but what does it say about just the overall depth and the youth that you have?
Yeah, I love how the young guys have been playing. I really do. We got to try to maintain a role for them going forward. Maybe not every one of them every night, but they got to stay ready. Who knows when and how healthy we get at any given time. So we'll wait for that to happen before we make any predictions. But just kind of like how they're fighting right now. And I like, obviously, Jaden's emergence has been huge, but that started even before some of the injuries. And there's a lot of belief and trust in each other out there. So,
one of those young guys, TJ, getting the opportunities last 2 games. And we're kind of seeing that force that he plays with. Like, what is for you just kind of watching? Obviously, seeing him in practice stuff. Is that his kind of superpower?
Yeah, that's one thing we loved about him in the draft was he's a guy who can stretch the floor. He's a downhill guy. Plays with great physicality on the offensive end. He's going to force the officials to make a call one way or the other. He loves to finish with reckless abandon. He likes to dunk, and we need that. And that's one of the reasons we identified him in the draft. We had other guys that maybe were younger guys, but we wanted somebody who was a little bit more physically, and mentally ready to play right away, because we hadn't made the trade yet, so we didn't have quite the wing depth at that point in time that we ended up having. So season starts for all these rookies. It's a learning curve. He went down to the G League. We were priming him to play. He put up some big numbers offensively down there, but we were most worried about his defense and needed him to play there. And then he turned his ankle, so it was kind of a waiting game for him. But now he's back, and we're seeing what he can do. So,
do you think Jaden leads with his competitiveness? Is that how he shows his leadership?
Yeah, for sure. And I think he just leads with he's there every day. Puts the work in off the floor. He puts the work in on the floor. He shows up. He plays. He never misses games. You pretty much now know what you're always going to get from him. And he leads by taking any challenge you give him. So.
You guys play OKC twice after the break.
Yes.
Do you think a performance like this can carry over to those games?
I'm sure it's a little bit like a playoff series. These games are going to be so tight together, so adjustments will be key. I'm sure they'll make a bunch. We'll try to predict and also do the same. But I expect a bunch of really tight and tough games. It's a heck of a team.
We've seen this team and seemingly has found a recipe to reach its ceiling. This team, what is it going to be required after the break to just see it more consistently?
Yeah, I think to me it's a lot about just approach. Having kind of a killer mindset. I think we've done a better job focusing in over the last month or so, but I think there's another level to go for us. I think, there's no more learning about who we are. There's no more, rough spots. We got to go. We've seen enough what we can do, whether we're healthy or banged up, that we have to be ready to go every single night. So.
Is there anybody you want to see take charge in that effort, or is it just a collective thing?
Well, we have to have a bit of a galvanizer, I think I do like some of our leadership. Joe Ingles has been really good. I think he's kind of a bit of a galvanizing voice for us right now. But we got to have that when things aren't going well in the middle of a game too. So.
Do you think the team has been able to step up to that pressure that you talked about pregame against when they were about to face off against the Bucks?
Well, it's a little bit what we're talking about. It's we don't want to make everything life and death, but you got to approach it like that, or it loses its meaning sometimes. And I think for the moment and most of the time they're meeting expectations. I thought last night we played hard, we played a great spirit, we couldn't make a shot. you know, and we may, you know, maybe we could have had like a little bit more intentional start, but I walked away from that game and I was disappointed in the result and felt we let one get away. But by the same token, when I watched it back, I couldn't be overly critical with the fight. You know, it just was, some execution was poor. And, you know, the guys responded tonight, you know, so they're meeting it. They're meeting the moment.